Or if he's betting anything else here that's lesser than, say, Jack 10 for value, I mean, it's pretty hard for him. He can't really have a worse full house here. He's not going to...
Two live game. The home game, 10-handed. I'm 1,300 effective.
Okay.
The villain in the hand is, I would say, fairly competent, loose, aggressive player.
You said 10-handed?
Yeah, 10-handed.
Okay.
Yep. Usually, yeah, he'll just fill in that last seat if there's somebody waiting. Usually, he never goes more than 10, but yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But villain is +1. He raises the 20. I'm on the button. I call with Jack 10 of spades, and the big blind calls.
So three
So
ways?
the pot is, yep, 3 ways.
So +1 to 20, you call on the button with Jack 10 of spades, big blind calls, okay?
Yep. So pot is 60. The flop is Jack of clubs, Queen of spades, 10 of hearts. So rainbow flop.
So you flop bottom 2.
So I flop bottom 2. Yep.
Uh-huh. But of course, you can't really play this hand obviously all that hard, right? The dreaded ace king is out there. So bottom 2 on queen jack 10. Okay, that's going to be an interesting one.
The heavy board, yeah, that's what I was thinking, ace king. So he comes out and or big blind checks. +1 bets 40. So it comes to me and I just call.
Okay.
And the big blind calls.
Big blind also calls.
Yep.
So looks like it's 180. What's also interesting here too is that I don't know. I mean, a little bit of PLO. Any hand that's going to put a lot of money in here, like raising bottom 2 here would definitely be an overplay against an early position raiser. Any hand that's going to be putting in a lot of money, that's putting in money against you is going to have, like, the range is going to have a lot more equity. The pocket kings is probably favored over you here too. You know, kings is an overpair and open-ended, and it's probably even close against aces with a gut shot. So, yeah, you have to play this a little bit defensively. There's a lot of things that can change, you know, on the turn. All right, so 180.
Yep, so 180.
Yeah.
And the turn is nothing card, 3 of diamonds.
Okay.
So rainbow. And big blind checks. And +1 bets 115.
Okay.
So
115, okay.
So I call 115.
Okay.
And the big blind also calls.
Jesus. So it seems to me like the big blind can be very king heavy here. So, I mean, not always, but it's just like, what is the big blind overcalling with? I guess he could have like queen 9 or something like that, right? But
well, there's a little background on the big blind. He's like really tilted. He lost a few buy-ins, and he's a loose player. So
yeah, okay. So you put in 345 on the turn, so it looks like it's 525 to the river.
Yep, 525 to the river.
Okay.
The river is a 10 of clubs.
So you make a full house.
So I make a full house.
Yep.
Yes. So the big blind checks, and +1 overbets 750.
So sorry, I just need to move my notes. Sometimes I don't know. Thank you, Nick and Yuma, for telling me about my live stream. If you're watching this, it was best of. When we do the live stream, I'm typing up the notes. So 525 in the pot. +1 is bet. All 3 streets. Now he bet 750. Jack, queen, 10, 3, 10. He bet 750 into 2 players here, right?
Yep.
And
a little side thing on the big blind. The big blind was just he was already calling for more chips. Like, it was obvious that he was done with the hand.
So you think you were thinking he was
like
folding. So you think he's folding the hand. So if you guys started with 1,300, he puts in 750 on the river. He puts in 115 on the turn. So that's 865. And then 400s, 900 plus pre-flop, a little over 900 he's put in, which means that it would appear to me that he has about 400 back, meaning like he started like with the river with maybe like 1125 to 1130. So he bets 750. Maybe he's got like 380 left. The reason why I bring that up is because,
Well, he had more than me. I'm not sure what he had, but he definitely had more than me. So,
well, what I'm saying, what I mean is the effective. You have, yeah, you
Yep.
have, 350 to 400 left. It's the same thing. But the reason why I bring that up is, what I talk about, did that video, and I've talked about this whole thing with like reverse pot odds here. So if you're deeper in this spot, then yeah, you probably just have a call, I would imagine here to, to like this type of line here with an overbet. But when you get into these shallow spots at the end, if the guy is betting ace king here like this, or if he's betting anything else here that's lesser than say jack 10 for value, I mean, it's pretty hard for him. He can't really have a worse full house here. He's not going to fold because the pot's going to be like 2,500, 400 for him to call. So you can get in these weird situations where you can actually go thinner as a raise for value at the end because he's always calling. He's going to be getting incredible pot odds. Now, if he bets 750 into 525, you're getting less than 2 to 1. You're getting like 1.8 to 1. You need to be good 1 out of, 2.8 times. If you put in that extra bet with a shove, you have to be good more than 50% of the time, though, now on that extra money. This is assuming that he is always going to call. Of course, if he's just like has an airball bluff, he can't fold. You block a lot of the full houses here with Jack 10. You know what I'm saying? He can't have 4 10s. Yeah. There's only one Jack. So, he's saying he's got like queens here, pocket queens. Would he, you've played the hand kind of slow. I mean, there's 3 combos of pocket queens and there's 16 combos of ace king. Now you can't necessarily just boil it down. And then of course, like there are some queen 10s and stuff, like a few, right? Because you can't just look at it like that. Because we can't just always say that he's got, that he's going to play all the ace kings like this, right? For an overbet at the end.
I can't imagine he would bet this big with ace king, like for value, I feel like if he's betting for value here, he has to have a better hand, right?
Not necessarily. I mean, he's scared that you have specifically like Jack 10, which there's only 2 suited combos of, or Queen 10 or something like that. I mean, I'm not folding, that's for sure. I think it's really, really close to a jam with a little bit of money left. And obviously with like not with a lot of money left, it's just a call. But no, I'm not going to fold. If that's your question.
Right. Yeah. So that was my thinking. Like that he wouldn't value bet with anything that was worse than my hand. So I took like well over 5 minutes. I ended up having time called on me. It went down to the last few seconds, and I threw the money in, and he had pocket queens.
Well, you lost less money than I would have. I mean, sometimes with these game time things, would somebody overbet the pot here with, I just think it's I would never take that sizing with pocket. This actually demonstrates like how a lot of live players will bet the absolute strength of their hand, in terms of like a bet sizing at the end, instead of like looking at the properties of their hand and like what they block, because the 10 doesn't really fit in with you all that much unless specifically you have like king 10 or you had like bottom 2, right, for jack 10. So a lot of the time here, if like you have top boat, and especially on a board where there's a straight out there where you're not going to be piecing off like 2 streets with like 9-10, even if you even get here with king 10, like he's just lucky that you had what you had. I don't like that sizing at all from him with 3 queens.
And it was just, I mean, right when he bet that amount, I felt sick because I just don't see players overbet like this, like in live games at the lower level, when they don't have, a really nutted hand. I don't see them make like bluffs like this a whole lot. So
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, I don't think it's a bluff, but it's an interesting one. And again, it all goes back to this whole concept of reverse pot odds, where I think that you can go a little bit thinner for value with with a little bit of a weaker hand. And the reason why I think it's interesting for you is because you block a lot of the boats. So I've seen some people do some stuff here with ace king. I mean, what if he had bet like 350 at the end?
Yeah, I might have just.
I mean, he's not going to check ace king because the 10 pairs at the end, right?
I would have thought he might have had more likely he would have had ace king if he bet a smaller amount.
Interesting. Anyways, thanks for the call. I appreciate it.